Love bombing is a deceptive tactic commonly used by narcissists. It involves overwhelming a new partner with excessive displays of affection and attention early in a relationship. This barrage of affection can include constant texting, grand romantic gestures, extravagant gifts, and declarations of love that feel too intense too soon. Behind the apparent affection is a calculated manipulation strategy. The narcissist's goal is to create an intense emotional bond quickly, establishing dependency and control. Love bombing creates a stark contrast between appearance and reality. What seems like passionate romance is actually calculated manipulation designed to lower your defenses. Love bombing isn't an isolated behavior, but the first phase in a cycle of narcissistic abuse. It sets the stage for future phases, including devaluation, discard, and potentially hoovering to pull you back in. If you recognize these love bombing patterns, trust your instincts about the relationship's pacing. Seek perspectives from trusted friends, set clear boundaries, and remember that authentic love develops gradually over time. In narcissistic relationships, a destructive pattern emerges: constant criticism of their partner paired with an insatiable need for admiration. A narcissist engages in relentless fault finding, where nothing their partner does is ever good enough. They criticize their partner's appearance, behaviors, and even thoughts. At the same time, the narcissist craves constant praise and validation. They expect to be recognized as superior and often reject or dismiss any criticism directed at them. This creates a profoundly unequal dynamic in the relationship. The partner faces a double standard. They must provide endless admiration while enduring constant criticism. Over time, this creates a dangerous imbalance. The partner's self-esteem is gradually eroded, while the narcissist's ego is increasingly inflated. This pattern severely impacts the partner's self-concept while artificially inflating the narcissist's ego. The narcissist employs various manipulation tactics to maintain this dynamic, including gaslighting, love bombing, triangulation, and projection.
Let's examine one of the most insidious red flags in narcissistic relationships: gaslighting and lack of accountability. Gaslighting is a manipulation tactic where a narcissist deliberately makes you question your own reality, memory, and perception of events. This creates a power imbalance where the victim begins to doubt themselves and relies more on the narcissist's version of reality. Narcissists use phrases like "that never happened," "you're being too sensitive," "you're making things up," or "you're crazy" to dismiss your concerns and perceptions. Gaslighting is one of several emotional manipulation tactics used by narcissists to maintain control. These include moving goalposts, generalizing, changing the subject, and targeting insecurities. Gaslighting often occurs within predictable cycles of narcissistic abuse. This pattern moves from idealization to devaluation, then discard, followed by attempts to hoover you back into the relationship. A crucial companion to gaslighting is the narcissist's consistent lack of accountability. They refuse to take responsibility for their actions or acknowledge the harm they cause. Narcissists engage in blame shifting by never sincerely apologizing, turning accusations back on you, using your past mistakes to deflect, making you responsible for their emotions, and denying their harmful behaviors. The combined effects of gaslighting and lack of accountability create profound damage. Victims experience chronic self-doubt, difficulty trusting their perceptions, constantly apologizing, feeling like they're going crazy, and walking on eggshells to avoid conflict. To protect yourself, document incidents to counter gaslighting, notice patterns of blame shifting, trust your initial feelings, look for consistency between words and actions, and observe whether apologies actually lead to changed behavior. Remember, persistent gaslighting and lack of accountability are serious red flags that should never be ignored in any relationship.
Being in a relationship with a narcissist takes a severe emotional toll, often resulting in several harmful effects that damage your mental health and well-being. The first major impact is emotional exhaustion. The constant need to manage a narcissist's emotions and expectations can leave you feeling completely drained and depleted. Narcissistic relationships typically follow a cycle of abuse, alternating between periods of adoration, control, rage, and calm. This unpredictable pattern contributes significantly to emotional exhaustion. Many people in narcissistic relationships describe feeling like they're constantly walking on eggshells. You develop a persistent fear of triggering your partner's anger or criticism through even minor actions. Narcissists commonly isolate their partners from support networks. They may criticize your friends and family, create conflicts when you spend time with others, or demand that you prioritize them exclusively. The emotional toll extends through multiple forms of abuse. While physical abuse may be absent, narcissists commonly engage in verbal, emotional, and psychological forms of control and manipulation. Understanding the warning signs is crucial for identifying narcissistic patterns in relationships. These signs include gaslighting, constant criticism, and emotional manipulation. The narcissistic abuse cycle follows a predictable pattern of idealization, where you're put on a pedestal, devaluation, where you're criticized and devalued, and eventually discard, where you may be replaced or temporarily abandoned. The cumulative impact of these experiences gradually erodes your self-esteem, mental health, and capacity for healthy relationships. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward recovery and healing. Deciding to leave a relationship with a narcissist is one of the most difficult yet important decisions you may face. There are several key warning signs that indicate it's time to consider leaving a relationship with a narcissist. First, if you're experiencing persistent emotional, verbal, or physical abuse, this is a clear indication that you should leave. Second, if you've established boundaries that continue to be violated despite clear communication, the narcissist is showing they don't respect your needs. Third, if you've completely lost your sense of self, your identity, or your autonomy in the relationship. Fourth, if your mental health is significantly deteriorating with symptoms like anxiety, depression, or PTSD. And fifth, if the narcissist refuses to acknowledge their behavior or commit to professional treatment. Before making your decision, it's important to understand the reality about narcissists and their capacity for meaningful change. Narcissistic personality disorder is a deeply ingrained personality structure, not just a set of behaviors that can be easily modified. Genuine change would require self-awareness and acknowledgement of problematic behaviors, which is fundamentally at odds with narcissistic traits. Most narcissists lack intrinsic motivation to change because their defense mechanisms protect them from feeling the pain they cause. Even with professional intervention, treatment success rates for narcissistic personality disorder are unfortunately quite low. Most importantly, your well-being cannot and should not depend on waiting for them to change. When making this difficult decision, it's essential to prioritize your own well-being above all else. Your physical safety, emotional health, and psychological well-being must be your top priorities. Research shows that ongoing exposure to narcissistic abuse causes cumulative psychological harm that worsens over time. Remember that you deserve a relationship based on mutual respect, empathy, and genuine love. With distance and proper support, healing from narcissistic abuse is not only possible but likely. Navigating separation from a narcissist is challenging and often requires professional support. Working with a therapist who specializes in narcissistic abuse and trauma can help you navigate the emotional complexities of separation. Support groups connect you with others who understand your experience and can provide validation and practical advice. Legal advisors can help protect your interests if divorce or formal separation is necessary, especially when dealing with a potentially manipulative ex-partner. For high-risk situations, creating a safety plan with professional help is crucial before attempting to leave the relationship. Remember, the decision to leave is deeply personal and only you can make it. But your mental health and well-being are non-negotiable. With the right support, a healthier future free from narcissistic abuse is not only possible, it's waiting for you.